In this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about the dominant major scales and being able to understand the major scales and how they fit together. And we can really kind of take a big picture view, and we really want to look for patterns. And it's something I just want to mention about patterns when it comes to music, that pattern recognition, being able to recognize patterns in music, is one of the most important things that you can do. Many of our problems can be solved by recognizing patterns. So in that sense, very mathematical. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just simply look for a pattern. And the way I'm going to do that is I am going to list out the notes that occur in each of these scales. And we're going to understand this dominant concept here in a moment. So C major, the notes here are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. D, well, let's see, I can probably just go and write the first note here very easily. That's not so hard to do. Then D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, then D. E would have the notes E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. G would have G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. A would have A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. B would have C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, and finally F sharp would have F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, and F sharp. Okay, first off, we can understand, why do we kind of consider these sort of the dominant major scales, and something that we can notice as a pattern? Well, I notice that they all have sharps. I don't see any flats in here at all. So that's really the concept for that. We just have, it's just the dominant, when we talk about the dominant key signatures, the dominant keys, the dominant major scales, we're really talking about all the sort of notes that are, for the most part, natural, right? C is a natural. D is a natural, E is a natural, G is a natural, A is a natural, B is a natural. Of course, F sharp is not a natural, but we're not talking about B flat or E flat or G flat or A flat or D flat. We're not talking about those kinds of notes. And what I'd like to go ahead and do now is take a look at some patterns, and let's kind of maybe think about the number of sharps that each one of these has. And so I notice, let's see, C has 0 sharps. D major has 2 sharps. E major has 4 sharps. G major has 1 sharp. A major has 3 sharps. B major has 5 sharps. And finally, F sharp major has 6 sharps. All right, so now we're starting to get somewhere, and if I take another closer look, I might notice, well, there's a little bit of a pattern here. I can see I've got this nice little 0, 2, 4. It looks like even numbers. I've got 1, 3, 5. It looks like odd numbers, and then I have sort of this standalone 6. But it gives me some idea of a pattern. I can see that looks like there is definitely some sort of a pattern that's occurring here. I haven't been able to really spot it just yet. Let's go on a little bit further, and what I'd like to do now is go ahead and order these by the number of sharps. So let's put them in order, and let's kind of remember this. C would be 1 because it's 0, then G would be 2, and 2 over here would actually be a 3. 3 sharps would be number 4, and then 4 sharps would be number 5, 5 sharps would be number 6, and 6 sharps would be number 7. Okay, so let's kind of write those out now. So in order of number of sharps. So in order of the number of sharps. Now let's see, we had C major because we said that was 0. We have G major because that was 1 sharp. Then we had D major. D major had 2 sharps. And then we have A major, which has 3 sharps. Then we had E major, which had 4. Then we have B major, which has 5. And finally we had F sharp major, which had 6. And you can go pause the video and kind of verify my work here, but I'll tell you that it's accurate. Now I can notice some things about this. This is starting to look like a pattern. Let's see, once again, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 sharps. So meaning that in the key of D major, we can expect 2 sharps to occur. In the key of E major, we can expect 4 sharps to occur. In the key of, let's say, C major, no sharps. F sharp major has 6 sharps. A major has 3 sharps, B major has 5 sharps. We can sort of see that that's the number of sharps that occurs in each of the keys. And we could start to begin to see a pattern. At this point, I can go, okay, well, I can see that I've got, let's see, well, 0 to 2 to 4 to 6. And maybe on this side, 1, 3, and 5. And so we can actually almost start to see that there's a little bit of an idea here. Well, wait a minute, that just goes C to D to E to F sharp, sort of what we saw earlier, and 1 to 3 and then to 5. Okay, so that's kind of interesting, but let's go maybe a little bit further, and now we're going to talk about, well, what exact sharps are in each one of these? So if we list out the sharps, I know that G major has 1 sharp, and it is F sharp. I know that D major has 2 sharps, and it is F sharp and C sharp. I know that A major has 3 sharps, and they would be F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. And hopefully by now you're starting to see a pattern where it's sort of we keep everything that we had previously, and we're just simply adding another sharp. Let's look at E major. If you guessed F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, you would be correct, and all we have to kind of do is sort of think about what is a half step below D, and it would be a D sharp. And so now we can have a D sharp. We can sort of see it in a pattern. Let's look at F sharp. Let's look at B major, and that would have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and now I want to consider what is a half step below B. Well, that's easy. That's in A sharp. Okay, and now let's go ahead and do F sharp, and we have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, and again I want to sort of consider, well, what is going to be a half step below F sharp? And if you said F, that is correct, but how do I write F in terms of a sharp? Well, I would write it as an E sharp. And so that would be an E sharp, where I understand that E sharp is really just an F, and we've been over that sort of concept before, why we choose to write E sharp instead of an F. And this is sort of the derivation for the circle of fifths, the dominant side. In future videos, we are going to explore the derivation for the subdominant keys of the circle of fifths, and we're going to continue to look for patterns.